Let me hit.
Sorry? Okay, great. And I have three pieces of news. We can do those fast and then we'll just go through the eps and then be out.
Cool.
That's
And
cool.
I'll send
Because
you after this because sorry, long story short, my uh computer cord got chewed through by Matt, and so
classic.
as well. So I will send it to you.
And tip your mic up.
Sure. But it's like I don't know what's going on today, that it's like
Just because I could hear you like most of the time, but since it was down, if you got like a little bit further away, I couldn't hear you. But now that
oh,
it's in that position, I can hear you. You were like fading in and out before, but now
okay,
I can hear you great. Is that
cool.
cool?
Yeah.
Awesome. But you look, I mean, I told you already, but you look great. The glasses, the hair looks great.
Thank you. And my Fupo onesie.
Oh, yes, of course. Okay, so let's just do it. Let's get through it. Let's get through it fast. We'll go through it.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello and welcome to Moms of
Pew pew pew
Flavortown.
pew 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 pew.
I am Rachel,
I am Debbie.
and we are here for the TOC
Oh
qualifiers.
my goodness. Thank goodness.
And I say this every year, Debbie, but this year during TOC is when the pod's really gonna pop off.
Yeah. Hey, you pod execs.
Or
Sponsor
just
us for
or just
stuff.
regular TOC fans. Come on, we're the only TOC recap podcast. I hope that's still true. It was still true, so we'll see. Anyway, we're the best.
We are the
Um,
best.
hello, Debbie. How are you on this holiday that shall not be named?
I'm okay. I was just, for our fans out there, I was just telling Rachel that I was having some tummy troubles, but other than that, like living in this hellscape of our own making and
Oh yeah.
yeah. How about you?
I'm good. I'm for anyone out there, I am in serious need of a job. So ideally it would just be, Food Network commentator. But
Yes. Until then,
yes, I'm a great office manager, office operations, HR.
yeah. If you
So
ever wonder like why there's so many good details on these episodes, it's because Rachel is really good at
I'm
details.
a really good admin. Hunter Fieri, do you need an executive assistant? Okay. Well, anyway, so since Debbie, as you said, had a little bit of maybe tummy troubles, no TMI, we promise. We're gonna just get through this ep and tell you all the important news, and let's start off with Flavortown news. Okay, so if you listen to the pod, you know that last week we had Justin Warner on. And the thing that we did not know when we had him on is that we interviewed him the day before his
Happy
birthday.
birthday! He told us he didn't really like to celebrate, so
Yeah, he doesn't observe, he said. But we have to say happy birthday to Justin Warner, another
dad of the pod.
Aquarian. Yes, he is the best. He is the third host of the pod that he
Hmm.
said, and we'll just tell people that. Yeah, this
Yeah,
pod is hosted by Debbie, Rachel, and Justin
Justin.
Warner. So it really is the official TOC pod. But
So
you know
true.
what, Debbie? Before I get to the rest of the news, I was thinking that we really have a lot of inside info on TOC, and I wonder if any other podcast has that much because we've interviewed Justin Warner twice, Carlos Anthony, Britt, Chris Scott, who else? Like other people from TOC. Oh, Sarah Bradley, like so many people from TOC, and I really do think we are the official TOC pod. So
I will say though, Pod Chef, shout out to you guys, friends of the pod. They have been having some really fun guests lately.
oh my God, I was so mad at them. So we love them, right? They're our rivals and our friends, our enemies and our lovers.
Yeah.
And they had Michelle Wallace, who I was really kind of angry at us for not getting her.
I know. Well, it's hard because, like, okay, if you want some insider info on how Rachel and I talk about like who we're gonna invite, we like try to aim for the parents first. And
Uh-huh.
Michelle is not a parent, and as much as we love her and think she's fucking awesome, like because of the theme of our podcast, uh, you know, she wasn't like on that list of parents. So that
Well,
was our issue.
in the top like 10 from Top Chef last season, there was not a single parent. There was like a few parents who got eliminated early, but like
Yeah.
there was no parents on, and not that we don't, not that we only interview parents, of course, but
Yeah.
we do like to. Okay, so um, in August 28th, I wrote to Michelle from the Moms of Flavortown Instagram, Michelle, we would love to interview you on our podcast if you ever can. She responded, shoot me an email with the details and her email address. I sent the email and that was the end of it. So I'll follow up.
Yeah. That's what I
Yeah.
always forget to do is the follow-up part.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was, but yeah, so great guests here, great guests on PodChef, and we're going to have the PodChef guys on to talk TOC at some point in the near future. Okay, but otherwise, there's two other pieces of Flavortown news today. So there has been announced a new show on NBC hosted by Martha Stewart and Jose Andres. It is called Yes Chef. And here is the blurb from the release. In addition to its world famous hosts, Yes Chef has one other unique twist. The chefs vying to win, who NBC notes have been nominated by their bosses, coworkers, friends, and family, are talented in the kitchen, but have emotional and personal barriers that have hindered their careers. According to NBC, these issues could include egos, intensity, stubbornness, or short fuses that are holding them back from reaching their full potential.
Since when has short tempers ever been an issue for career chefs?
Or egos. Oh my God. Every chef I've ever seen has the biggest ego in the world. Well, not all of them, not the ones we talk to. Some of
Yeah,
them are
exactly.
great.
The ones we talked to are wonderful and
It,
sweet.
and I mean, obviously, I feel like it's called Yes Chef. Egos, intensity, stubbornness, or short fuses. They're describing carmy, right? They're trying to, that's the
Yeah,
whole thing, is they're trying to
yeah,
get a bunch of carmies in a room.
yeah.
Um, I, okay, so sorry, network TV, but I don't think that network TV food competitions are usually very good.
No.
I feel like they usually end up being a little too like okay, like I know people like MasterChef, but it's like they get so like touchy feely and it's like not like it's like drama. They lean too hard on the personal drama,
Yeah,
whereas I feel like Food Network and Top Chef like lean on the cooking.
right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I mean, maybe I'll check out this show, but also like Martha Stewart and Jose Andres. Okay, so I I'm feeling weird about Jose Andres lately. Are you, Debbie?
I mean, yes. And also Martha, like I mean, not that like whatever, Martha kind of when she got out of jail, she like, quote unquote reinvented her image as far as like, more like
Street cred?
yeah, in a way that's like kind of feels lefty, but now that Snoop was at Trump
Yeah.
inauguration, like
Her BFF, yeah.
yeah, it's like all kind of like I don't know.
I know. And like the okay, so I know like ideally Jose Andres is like it's a good guy, right? Like
Yeah.
he does help people with food or whatever.
Right.
But like just that image of him crying when Biden was giving him the Congressional Medal of Honor, where like you're like, don't cry with Biden.
Yeah, like Biden killed your employees.
I know. And he's acting like, oh, it's such an honor for like this war criminal to say good job after they gave the weapon, whatever. Not to get too political. Sorry, I feel like I have to laugh when I say that because we live in political times,
Yes.
okay? So it's like you can't say like don't kill innocent people without being like, you're crazy. And I put my personal Instagram on private, just FYI lately because of
Yeah.
this. So if you're Googling me, I mean, if you listen to the pod and you want to follow me, just request. It's fine. I'll let you. But I'm just trying not to get like potential employers to be like, does this person care about human rights too much to work here? No, I
To
need your
work in
job.
HR.
Yeah. Oh no, but like, like so real talk though is sorry to be off topic, but like I started doing HR because I like realized like HR could have like a really good impact on like people at a company.
Uh-huh.
And like that was like sounded great to me. Like I was like, oh, like the HR people are the ones who are supposed to like tell the company they need to follow labor laws and things like
Right.
that, you know?
Right.
Like I like that. I'm like, no, like I can like make sure people get the amount of sick time and vacation time that is fair and all that
Mhm.
stuff. But then like when you do HR, you start realizing how much everyone hates HR.
Mhm.
Um, and like there's a thing with HR, people say like, oh, like you get into HR because you love people and then you end up hating people. So we'll see. But anyway, but I'm not the mean kind of HR person.
Yeah.
I am trying to like so like in HR, like the discourse, it's like HR can't be like in a union, but like you were supposed to like create the environment that collective bargaining can happen. That's like by law, you're supposed to do that. You're like not allowed to hinder union activity as an HR person. That's the law. But like there's always like all these HR discussions of like what's the best way to discourage people from starting this or whatever. And I'm like, no, like I got into HR to be pro union. So anyway, sorry. We can
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like most HR people are their brains are working for their
I
bosses,
know,
not
but
for
I
the.
just wish that I think the good HR would not be because that's like not good
Well, yeah,
actually. But
I agree.
I guess that I'm just too commie pill to get it.
Yeah.
Okay, but on to our last piece of Flavortown news. This is actually from Flavortown. So Scott Conant is hosting a new cooking show on Food Network.
Ooh.
And it is called oh shoot, I didn't copy the name down. I just wrote the blurb. Um, oh shoot, now I have to look it up. It's called like Knives Out or something. Um,
That's cute that that if it's like
it's not actually Knives Out, but it's Knives something. And
okay.
I didn't write it down. And now it's making it hard. Okay. I'm sorry, everybody. This is just embarrassing.
All
I'm
right.
finding all the
Knives
head.
uh House of Knives.
House of Knives. Yes, sorry. There, thank you. Knives something was correct. Okay, so here's the blurb. Led by Scott Conant and esteemed culinary council members Judy Jew and Marcus Samuelson, the 8-episode competition names a weekly ruler based on challenges that reflect the contenders' personal stories, food influences, and cultures. The least successful chefs are banished. There are
Oh.
always 6 players in the game, so eliminations are followed with a dramatic reveal, a brand new legendary chef entering the arena. The final chapter, only one chef will claim the throne and win $100,000 grand prize. So we said Last Bite Hotel was Traders, but is this
Mhm.
Traders?
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, it's obviously they saw Traders and they were like, "Oh fuck, we got to do." They saw Last Bite Hotel and they're like, "HBO."
Like get as many. No, Last Bite Hotel was on Food Network.
Oh, I thought it was an HBO joint.
No, you watched it on Max because Max is where Food Network streams.
Right. Oh,
Uh,
okay. So that's
it
good.
was
Okay.
yeah, it was on Food Network. So yeah, I love it. I think it's great that they're trying to traderify.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, like, if everything has to be a competition, let's make it a traders competition. You know?
Uh, yeah, and I love Scott Conant. I love Marcus Samuelson. I don't know Judy Jew as much, but I've seen her a little bit,
I like
and
Judy too.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so that's all for the Flavortown news, and
I just
now
want to
we
say also,
yes.
like, oh my God, Scott Conant. So I Googled whatever. Um, his like Twitter and Instagram bios say husband, father, and then it has the peace sign emoji, the heart emoji, and then it says hashtag peace love pasta.
Okay, I love Scott Conant. I feel like that if I was going to smash a chop judge, it would be Scott Conant. I find him
Uh,
very attractive. Um, but yeah, don't tell my husband that, who definitely will listen to this.
But the funny thing is, like, he kind of like I could see a similarity with him and Spencer.
Yeah, exactly. I have
Yeah.
like a similar type, you know.
Yeah.
I love he's my anti-onion king. I love that about him. Um, but he definitely is like, he lives in where's that? He lives in like New Mexico, right?
I think
Or
he's
some
his things say Atlanta now.
oh, okay, but he definitely like is like he definitely has ruling class vibes,
Yes,
and Peace Love Pasta is such like a neo-lib thing to
really.
I mean, I love peace and love and pasta. I'm all for it, but also, violent times call for violent ends.
And also not to like, Scott is notoriously like angry.
Oh, yeah. I mean, again, my anti-onion king. Okay, well, let's talk about TOC.
Yes.
So, Debbie, qualifiers.
Holy shit. Already exciting.
It's already exciting, but it's kind of funny, right, that they did 2 episodes because,
Hmm.
like, why wasn't it just one episode? I feel like
Right.
maybe there was a scheduling conflict or something and they were going to do it over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But let's just get right into it, blow by
Hmm.
blow, and talk about the qualifiers for TOC 6. Okay, so last year in the qualifiers, there was like rounds of 4 people, and only one person from each round moved on.
Yeah.
Now it is 16 chefs, and half of them are going to make it. So it's
Which
great
is
odds this year.
Yeah, but it's also funny. It's like it's kind of what TOC started with season one, as far as like how many people wasn't it? It was like 16 people, or maybe it was
I
32. I don't remember.
But it was less than it is now for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first year. Yeah, it might have just been 8 on each side. It might have been. Wow.
Mhm.
But yeah, so it's like, but this is like, like the young, fresh chefs, but also lots of people we know already.
Yes.
And when Guy opens it up, he says TOC is around the corner. And it's just like, oh yeah, here it is, TOC. And I want to say a little quick rest in peace to our friend Biff Whiff.
Yeah. Cosmic
If you
gumbo.
Yeah, exactly. And from the Santa sketch, Biff Whiff is from I Think You Should Leave, and from the Santa sketch where he's mad when they talk about Christmas, and he's like, if you interviewed Leonardo DiCaprio, would you ask him if Christmas was around the corner? So whenever I hear around the corner, I think of Biff Whiff, even though, it's just a normal thing people
Aw.
say.
Yeah.
So yeah, so the 16 chefs enter. Everyone is like bragging about their accolades. There is lots of familiar faces from
Hmm.
24 and 24, TOC past seasons, etc.
Hmm. A
And
lot of
then
people I didn't recognize.
yes, there was a good amount of people that I didn't recognize, but a lot we did.
Yeah.
And Hunter comes out with a bingo type number wheel, and Guy calls him Mr. Fieri. I feel bad for Hunter, to be honest, and I'm sure we'll talk about it. But like last year, he was the only one in the qualifiers doing the commentating, and this year they put him next to Justin, and it really
It
is
was very
embarrassing.
obvious. I know. Like, I don't know how much got left on the cutting room floor because if that's what made it,
I know.
his oh
Where he just really, and it's like you can't blame him because like Justin is really good at his job.
yeah.
Like Justin is like an expert at food. We're not just sucking up to him because he's the third host of this pod.
Oh yeah.
But like that's why like he like won Food Network star and he's
Right.
on this show is like because he like knows all this stuff and like
He's
Hunter is
charismatic as fuck.
yeah and like Tiffany like even we may not love her but like I agree she knows a lot about food, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can at least say that.
Yeah.
And Hunter, I just feel like he does not, and it's like kind of a cruel to put him in there. But so the reason I heard that so Justin told us that Simon kind of opted out, but I heard now that Simon has cancer, and that's one
Oh.
of the reasons he opted out. And so if that's the case, maybe like Simon thought he was up for it and he just wasn't up for it, and they kind of scrambled last minute.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
maybe my guess why Hunter was in there with Justin because
well,
like it doesn't make sense, right?
right. And well, uh good best wishes to Simon. That sucks.
But he's gonna be on TOC a little bit, so he
Yeah.
like I think he's like well enough to do that.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping he's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Guy's gonna call 2 names from this bingo wheel, and they're gonna start right away. And the first round is Bruce Kallman versus Maria Mazzone.
I
Uh,
love Maria. I always
I
get so
know.
excited when she's on stuff.
So a little inside baseball is that for me and Debbie, is that we were supposed to interview Carlos Anthony the day they filmed this. And he didn't tell us that this is what they were filming, but he sent us a picture from backstage with him and Maria.
Yeah.
So I like knew Maria was involved somehow, but I didn't know until the qualifiers were announced that that's what Carlos Anthony was in. So very cool.
Yeah.
And Bruce Kallman, though, is one of these guys that like I feel like I kind of get like sad seeing him because he like never wins, you know?
Yeah.
And
I
like,
mean, and he seems like he's an interesting enough cook,
yeah,
but like TV
I'm sure.
making.
Well, also like, okay, I don't want to body shame. But like I have to say that I like fat people, and I don't like the narrative that like when people lose weight they look automatically better, you
Right.
know? And
Right.
like I like seeing Bruce as a fat guy on
Right.
TV. And like happy for him, he can do whatever he wants. And like I'm not saying like he should do what I want with his body, but also I just don't like the idea that it's like I lost 100 pounds. My life is great now. Where
Right.
it's just like, let's just like do whatever you want, but like I don't need the narrative about why your weight loss makes you better. That's all
Yeah.
I want to say.
Yeah. Agreed.
Um, yeah,
Especially
sorry.
when you're cooking against an awesome fat chef like Maria.
Yeah, but she also said she lost 50 pounds.
Yeah.
So
But she said it in a way that she was like, fuck,
yeah,
like,
she's like, my life is hard. Like, yeah, like I can't
yeah.
eat, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so the randomizer has protein, produce, equipment, style, and time. And for them, they get rockfish, red onion, waffle iron, poached, and 28 minutes. Um, and
What
so
an
yeah,
awesome randomizer, by the
I
way.
know,
Like,
but
I feel like that was good.
Maria's not happy because there's no oceans in her state.
Yeah.
But she did a great job.
Yeah. I mean, cooking fish, like, I'm sure there's enough lake fish that are similar to ocean fish cooking wise that,
Yeah. And like obviously Maria's a chef. She's cooked fish before. It's not like she
yeah.
can't do it. I guess it's just not her first choice.
Right.
And she is doing rockfish machacha at first. And Bruce is gonna do poached rockfish with Israeli couscous and agrodolce onions.
You mean,
Pearl couscous.
yeah.
I know. It's like, oh God. I cook with pearl couscous all the time. I
Yep.
love it. And Maria is using the waffle iron to make masa waffles, which is a great idea.
Mhm.
Um, I think that would taste delicious, a masa waffle. I mean, they
Oh,
said
yeah.
that hers were a little bit dense, but I mean, I like the idea a lot.
Yeah. I thought
Um,
I thought everything that she decided to do was really awesome.
yes. I
That's such a dish that I would order.
Yes, if I saw that, I would love to eat it.
Yeah.
And she is doing a red onion puree with umabashi.
Mhm.
And Justin is concerned because the umabashi have pits in them and they are in the blender. And Maria does not realize this until she blends it. So it's blended, but it tastes great anyway, and she's able to strain it out. So
Yeah.
it all works out well. But see, this is the commentary we love from Justin,
Mhm.
where he knows it's happening, he can't interfere, but he knows what's going on.
Right.
And Maria is going through a divorce, and she's boxing. And I guess she was married. I guess she's married to a woman,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, and her divorce.
Yeah, I remember her partner, but I don't remember, or her ex-partner, but I feel like her ex-partner was also a chef, I want to say.
I don't remember anything about this. I mean, I remember loving Maria on Top Chef, but that's all.
Yeah.
And Bruce does not have enough components in the waffle iron, and he also overcooked his couscous. And Hunter is so unsure about everything he says, and I feel so. I
Right.
really, we like to clown on Hunter, but I kind of feel bad for him in this situation.
I mean, look, he put himself kind of in this situation.
I know.
Let's be real. Like, I mean, he didn't put, well, no, because his dad is probably surrounded by a bunch of yes men, and
Yeah, yeah. And I think that
um,
maybe he just what they need, whatever.
yeah,
And then they announce that there's going to be judges and it's going to be blind judging. And they do that thing where they just show you like pieces of their wardrobe before they come out.
yeah.
And they all have amazing shoes. Is the first thing we see is like three pairs of great shoes. What?
love Tiffany's shoes. They are not my thing.
But okay, so they weren't really my thing, but they did look good in like the montage of shoes. It was like
Yes,
three
yes,
very different shoes. I'll say that
yes.
more than great shoes. But
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maylands were my favorite shoes
Yeah,
for
same.
sure. And Maria's fish is too dry, so she pivots and do it to doing an agua chile.
Mhm,
And she's nervous it's going to be too spicy, so she puts in 7 chilies instead of 10.
mhm,
And for me, 7 chilies would be way too spicy,
mhm.
but as we'll see later, the judges can handle more heat than
I
that.
mean, yeah, like when two of the three of your judges are like Manit and Maylin,
And but that's the problem is you have no idea who the judge is going to be
right?
because like if it was Nancy Silverton, she doesn't like spice,
Right,
like there's you don't know.
right.
And then a cute moment when Maria can't find her waffle in the waffle iron. She doesn't realize it has two sides. She opens it, there's nothing in there, and she's like, "What?" This time Justin does tell her. It has
Yeah.
two sides, chef.
Yeah. But I feel like that's not really interfering as much as
Yeah.
like
He didn't tell her to change course or anything,
right,
but
right.
she really is looking like, how did my waffle disappear?
Yeah.
And when Maria plays, it looks so good. The bright colors, like the red and the green, look
Mhm.
so good on the plate. It
Yep.
really like looked delicious.
Mhm.
So for judging, we have Tiffany Faison, Maylin, and Manit. So 3 of the 4 TOC winners.
Mhm.
And I know that like sometimes we hate on Manit a little bit, even though we love her mainly, but she looks amazing in
I
her
was saying the
shiny red
same
suit.
thing. And like I remember last year we were like, oh, her hair's thinning. It's like whatever. Her hair looked gorgeous. Like it was so shiny and
She
luscious.
looked so good. I mean, maybe like since she's not competing, she's like less stressed. And she just
Yeah.
but like I loved her suit. It was like a suit, but like a short. It was so good.
It was so good. And
Uh,
Tiffany's weird.
her bow too. Okay, so like I feel like our friend of the pod, Sophie Strauss, has something to say about this because like I think she did a story about this once because like bows are so in right now to the point it's like ridiculous. Where it's just like I love a bow, but it's like
Uh-huh.
it's over the top.
Yeah. A
Um,
denim bowed where like the bow was like stiff and it was just like out of what is happening.
Yeah, it was weird. But so first, Justin reads for Maria. Manit says is a great use of the randomizer. May loves the vibrant colors, but there's not enough heat. Tiffany says great use of red onion, but the masa cake is too dense. The next thing I wrote is Tiffany has a huge bow on her denim shirt. It's like sometimes like these chefs and like in the judging, I feel like obviously they're going like high fashion, and it's like as they would say, it's like the clothes wear you at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
Where Manit and May were wearing their clothes, but that
Totally.
was yeah. So Hunter for Bruce, and okay, so Hunter is reading about Bruce, and he reads that there's Calabrian chili, and on the TV, I was like watching it live on Food Network. When Hunter said Calabrian chili, there was an ad for Beat Bobby Flay at the bottom, and I'm like, that could not be a
Collaborative.
coincidence.
That's actually really smart. If
It
that
was
was like,
it was so funny. So it's like you spoke my name, and I will come.
that would be
Uh,
amazing if that was just like a new Food
They have
Network
like
thing.
they have AI in there where if you say Calabrian chili, a picture of Bobby Flay.
That's the kind of AI I would support, you
Yes,
know?
totally. Okay, so for Bruce, May loves the sweet and sour, but there's not enough texture. Manit loves the use of the waffle iron, but the fish was poached too long.
Mhm.
And Tiffany loves the agrodolce, but it's not a great use of the waffle iron. Uh, Guy tells them it's a 1 point difference, 75 to 74, and the winner is Maria. Um,
Thank
and
goodness.
yes, I would love to see her. I mean, I am
Mhm.
gonna love to see her in TOC.
Yeah.
And she cries because like she's had a hard year, and she
Yeah.
says it's all for her son, and she tells him the sky is the limit,
Yeah.
which is so sweet.
I also want to, I meant to say this earlier, but John actually made me pearl couscous uh, the first time he ever cooked for me.
You know what? I think you've said this on the pod before when we talked about this, but Pro Cookies is great. It's a
It's delicious.
yes, I love it too. Okay, so the next battle is Jacob Town, which is such a funny name. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. Especially since Guy found him on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. It's such a triple D name. And he's going up against Jonathan Sawyer,
Mhm.
who is another one of these always a bridesmaid, never a bride
Yeah.
type people with TOC. Um, and good friend of Britt Rosigno, who we
Hmm.
talked to. So the randomizer is chicken legs, curly kale, microwave, pickled, and 28 minutes.
Again,
Um,
a great random. I feel like the qualifier randomizers aren't that hard.
no, and everyone's freaking out about the microwave, but it's like so easy to use the microwave.
Yeah.
Like you can just like, you can make it just cooks things fast. It's
Yeah.
not yeah, you're not going to cook your protein in there, but
Right.
like whatever. So Justin is there with Jonathan, and Jonathan's making a green curry with okra and kale.
Mm,
And Hunter is with Jacob, and he's making fried chicken with braised kale and butter.
mm,
Jacob's
awesome.
hat Jacob's hat says peace, love, and sourdough.
Again, that's like another like neo-lib beginning of the pandemic kind of.
Exactly. And it's like he really like look speaking of AI, like Jacob Town is like an AI created person, right? It's like this
Yeah,
guy is an
totally.
American chef. His name is
Yeah.
Jacob Town.
Yeah.
He loves baking bread and fried chicken. I mean, he seems very nice.
Yeah.
But it was funny because he was doing the whole like starstruck thing about being there, but he had like no emotion. So he's like, wow, these people are legends. Wow.
Ugh.
I'm sure it was genuine, but yeah, again, he's AI.
Yeah.
So Jonathan makes his mirepoix in the microwave, which is great. Yeah, great way to soften
Yeah.
vegetables. And Jacob braises kale in the microwave. And Jacob is putting kimchi juice into his pickled kale,
Which I
which
thought
sounds
was
great.
awesome. Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm gonna tell a quick little aside quickly. So we went for Korean barbecue this weekend.
Yeah.
And I love Korean food. But I famously like cannot eat spicy food at all.
Uh-huh.
And we were at this Korean barbecue place and like we got bibimbap and I kept having like Spencer like pass the gochujang because you need gochujang in bibimbap.
Yeah.
And every time I put gochujang on my bibimbap, Spencer would just say, very interesting. I'm always telling him I can't handle spice. Yeah.
Say, since you've been eating more Korean food at work, your spice level has gone up.
That's definitely true. And I'm also
Yeah.
like kind of more willing to tolerate the pain for Korean food because I got obsessed with it.
Yeah.
I'm just, your standard US person that loves Korean culture. What can I say? But yeah, I love Korean food. Okay, so and then we have this cute Jonathan says that he's 27 months sober, another year sober since last TOC. So he's like feeling more with it. And when like, we always watch just like random Food Network shows for our like bedtime comfort shows.
Mhm.
And if we see like an old Chopped from like, 8 years ago and Jonathan Sawyer's on it, you could tell he was
Yeah.
fucked up.
Yeah.
And it's like nice seeing him. So like it's because you watch these old things and he's like, kind of like haggard and he looks like he's in pain, and
Right.
he
Right.
he looks like it's nice to see him looking healthy.
Yeah. Totally. And he
And
seems
then
happier.
yes,
Yeah.
totally. And then Guy throws Justin a spoon across the room to taste the curry, and Justin catches it.
Yeah.
Those are the moments that we love to see. I wonder if Hunter's like, Dad,
Throw me.
have a catch with me, Dad, please.
Oh,
Uh,
you know that guy just like is obsessed with Hunter.
oh
It's
yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's
yeah.
not like a
A
Trump.
cats in the cradle
Yeah,
situation.
yeah, yeah.
We saw on TV that they had a guy was on like a Carnival cruise ship for Ryder's graduation. Did you see that?
No.
It's like instead of like doing like the road trip, they went on a
Mhm.
Carnival cruise for Ryder's
Ah.
graduation recently. Okay, so Jonathan is doing a chicken skin chili crunch. Again, sounds delicious.
God, that was such a good idea.
Yes. So for judging, Justin reads for Jonathan. May says it has so much flavor in a short time. She loved the chili crunch and she's going to steal it. For Manit, she says it's all about curry. Pickles work well, but the chicken is undercooked. And Tiffany says the stunning presentation and her chicken is just cooked.
Mhm.
Um, And then Hunter reads for Jacob. Manit says that the Southern cooking is unafraid, but the gravy has a bad flavor. May loves the pickled curly kale, but there's bland gravy. And Tiffany says it's great fried chicken, but bad gravy.
Hmm.
So, and then the difference is only 77 to 79. So the
It
gravy
wasn't
couldn't
the
have
gravy
been,
wasn't that bad. Yeah.
yeah, they just really hammered that home. And then Jonathan Sawyer wins. So that's the first episode. And we had the two chefs moving on are Jonathan Sawyer and Maria Mazzone, two names that we love.
Hmm.
And now let's just roll right on to the second
All
episode.
right.
So at the beginning, we have Carlos Anthony. He is freaking out because he wants to go.
Yeah.
And you know we love Carlos Anthony here,
Oh,
friend of the pod.
yeah.
But he was hyped
Rare.
up this episode
Yeah.
the whole time.
We love our energetic king. Like, that's
I
totally fine. Go for it.
he can be like a caricature of himself, but that's like his vibe, right?
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
why he's like, like right hand man to Brian Malarkey. They go hard. And he is freaking out to go, and he goes against Don Burrell. And I was immediately depressed to hear
Yeah.
about this because obviously I kind of like thought that Carlos would go through because he's got a lot of TOC experience.
Mhm.
When we've talked to him, he seems psyched. But Dawn, I love her, and she's her
Mhm.
own worst enemy.
She really is. She just like, and I get this too. Like, she overthinks everything, and
Yeah.
that's her really, truly her
And
down.
she's like eternal fan favorite. Every time she's on, I mean, she's been on Top Chef twice. Everyone's rooting for her. Like anything she's on, people really want to see her succeed. And I was like looking through like the Food Network Reddit, and like people were like, it was like a live reaction thread, and
Mhm.
people were like, oh, like I love Dawn, but she always messes something up and is her own worst enemy. And then they were like, right on schedule
Oh,
because it's like I feel bad for her. Everyone
yeah.
loves her, but anyway, let's go through it. So the randomizer is bacon, button mushrooms, mandolin, fried, 32 minutes.
Hmm.
And if I just like saw bacon, button mushrooms, mandolin fried on a menu, I would order that.
Yeah.
So
You don't even have to tell me what you did with it.
yeah, I love bacon and mushrooms. It's a
Yeah.
great combo.
Yeah.
So Carlos is doing a bacon mushroom broth with fried croquette. And Dawn is doing crispy braised bacon with cilantro puree. Both sound like great ideas.
Hmm.
And Carlos is like mandalizing like crazy. And like the thing about Carlos is obviously he's been on TOC twice before, and he has come here to win, right? He's like
Yeah.
he means business, and like he's taking notes. Like he knows how hard you have to hit the randomizer. And it's Dawn's first time, and she's clearly like out of her depth with
Yeah.
this whole thing.
Yeah.
Um and Carlos is mandolining like crazy. Guy notes that it has no guard, and Hunter tries to give Carlos a guard for his mandolin, and he does not take it.
Yeah.
Justin was with Dawn. Dawn uses orange juice in her egg wash to coat her bacon, which is a very cool idea.
Yeah.
And Carlos uses like bacon and mushroom to make like this like little like meatball that he fries. And the judges come out and they're in the same outfits as the last episode. So like obviously it's the same day.
Mhm.
So again, interesting they did it into two different episodes.
Yeah.
And then Dawn forgets to fry her mushrooms last minute and she barely has any mushrooms on her dish. And like the whole time Carlos is doing like mushrooms here, mushrooms there, bacon here, bacon there. And like she only had like a time she focused on the bacon a lot and like nothing on the mushrooms.
Yeah.
And Carlos is confident that he ran through the randomizer, which like, okay,
Slow down here, bud.
you do not have to get that aggressively sexual with the randomizer.
I mean, you just had a wedding. Like, you don't have to
Yeah.
fuck a randomizer. Let's.
He fucked it so bad that it's no good for the next guy. Uh, so, Carlos, we love you. And he's saying he's meant to win this competition.
Yeah.
He's freaking out. So Hunter reads her Carlos, and May says it's packed full of flavor. She loves the texture. Tiffany said it should be heavy, but it's not. And it took the randomizer out to the woodshed. And Manit played
Again,
Yeah.
why does everything have to be?
I know.
Like, I mean, come on.
Manit says that he played to the randomizer. Well, button mushrooms are soggy and it's not a great presentation.
Mhm.
So it's good comments, but not like 100% across the board.
Yeah.
Then Justin reads for Dawn. Manit says it's great presentation and a delicious dish. Tiffany wants to sleep on the pillow of the bacon, but
Hmm.
there's not enough mushrooms. And May says it's bright and delicious, but there's no mushrooms.
Yeah.
So the score is 78 to 73, and Carlos Anthony wins.
It's such a bummer to like, okay, obviously I was rooting for both of them, but like really like if Dawn because she had a big pile of sliced mushrooms in front of her that she was plating from, and all she had to do was just toss a few more
I
onto the
know.
plate.
But also she didn't fry them, so like even then it was just like kind of like raw mushrooms, you know?
But I would say like a raw mushroom next to a fried piece of
Yeah,
bacon, I think actually sounds like a really nice compliment. But
totally.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think that the judges really liked her dish, and if she had done the mushrooms a little more, it could have been totally different. I
yeah,
totally agree.
yeah,
So then next we have Chris O versus is it Micah or Mika? Now Mika, right? Yes.
yeah.
Chris O versus Mika Leone. They were both in 24 and 24. And they're good friends, they know each other. I only watched like half of 24 and 24, so I feel like I like know them, but I don't like feel like I like know them super well or
Oh, you
anything.
should finish it. It was a fun.
I know I should. There's just too much TV. Right now we got Severance, we got White Lotus, we have Love is Blind, we have Bachelor, we have TOC, we have Top Chef coming up.
Raiders.
Trader. Oh my God. It's too much. Oh, Yellow Jackets, which I'm not even getting the app until all these other shows are over.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the randomizer, they have ground chicken, green cabbage, brick, blanched, and 32 minutes.
Mhm.
Chris immediately is like ground chicken larb with coconut cabbage sauce. Larb seems the obvious direction to go with
Yeah.
ground chicken.
I love a larb.
To me, larb is usually too spicy,
Mhm.
but I do like a Thai lettuce cup or something, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Mika is doing fufu de plantano con picadillo, and she's adding cabbage to the picadillo. And Chris O gets a hard sear on his ground chicken with the brick, and Mika smashes tostones with a brick. So they're using the brick. The brick is always like a fun thing, I
Yeah.
think, to see on these shows. And Guy asked Justin if a plantain is related to a banana, and Justin says yes. A plantain is a tree potato.
Yeah, which I thought was so good.
I love that, but also I don't think that really answered Guy's question.
No.
And I know, like, I think it was like a waffles emoji where they went all about bananas. And like I
Yes.
say, a plantain is a banana. It's just like a
Yeah.
different type.
Yeah.
So thank you, waffles emoji. And no thank you, Michelle Obama.
Thank you for lending your money for this
Yes.
cute show.
Yes.
That's it.
Chris O uses the brick to grill his cabbage also. And Mika is making some eggs. And from the stands, one of the chefs says, "Is that an egg?" And someone else responds, "Yes, huevo." It's like, oh, she's making it, so it's not an egg, it's a huevo.
Wait, yeah.
It's just funny because if she said that, I would have no problem with it. But something a random bystander
Yeah.
correction is very funny to me. Okay, for judging, Hunter reads for Chris, and Manit says it's great flavors. May says it's delicious flavor, and Tiffany says a great char on the cabbage, but there's dry chicken and it needs more lime juice. And then Justin reads for Mika. And Manit says she took risks. It was so much work. May says it's inviting, has a magical flavor, but she doesn't taste cabbage. And Tiffany's like, "Where's the cabbage?"
Mhm.
And it's true. It is mostly plantains,
Yeah.
right?
And
Which,
she even mentioned that, like, it's so not, it doesn't really fit into the recipe, but she just added it anyway, kind of thing.
yeah.
So,
And it seems
yeah.
like they really thought hers maybe tasted better overall.
Yeah.
But like it didn't really fit the randomizer.
Yeah.
So it's 71 to 75, and Chris O wins. And Chris O says that he's beaten 3 of the 4 of the champions before on TV. So that's
Mhm.
an interesting stat.
Yeah.
Okay, so I
Chris
want to
Ho is extremely hot.
I know. Well, he's hot, but it's like I get a little bit of that like PTSD thing from him where I can just imagine him rejecting me in a Bushwick bar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he definitely has like I know he's a family man now, but like he definitely has like the fuckboy kind of
Yeah,
it's
and
the
I mean
Basquiat throat tattoo is
exact
what
exactly. And it's just like, yeah, but he's very hot.
yeah.
But I want to do right now, I should every week for TOC is a little bit of dun dun white guy watch. So
Uh-oh. I like this.
So, as we know, TOC has never been won by a white man or a man at all. But really, we just don't want to see a white man win it. That's our number one thing here on the woke ass Moms of Flavortown.
Yeah.
So, today we've had one woman, three men, and two of those men were white men who
Uh-huh.
won. So, no offense, Carlos Anthony or Jonathan Sawyer. We'd love to see you go far, but you can't win.
Yeah. I mean, no, Carlos not
Oh,
he's white
yeah.
passing.
Yeah, well, I guess he's as far as like and when you do your like equal opportunity survey,
Yeah.
he would be considered white on there, but he's white
Oh
Hispanic.
yes. Oh, that's right. Oh, God.
But yeah, okay, it's true. He is. You're right. Okay, Jonathan Sawyer. I guess we don't even know for sure.
Yeah.
But Chris O definitely not a white man, and Maria definitely not a white man.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes for the rest of the time. But I'm excited. I can't wait for TOC. And next week there's gonna be two more episodes, and then after that, the full bracket will be revealed.
Ugh, I'm so excited.
And we have to get Carly to come talk to us.
Yeah.
She would love to be on the podcast. She does Carly Subert, she does data for Food TV, and she's actually like on the payroll now for Pack Your Knives, but we won't hold that against her.
Oh, I didn't know she was like official.
Yeah, she does stuff for their website now. She's not like
Sure.
I
That's
know, yeah.
awesome.
She's doing well, it's obviously the Eric Ajapong connection
Yeah.
because she's doing like full coverage of Pack Your Knife. Not Pack Your
Yeah.
Knife, sorry. That's the podcast of Wild Card Kitchen.
Yeah.
She's doing like lots of stats for that are going on to their website. Um
Question. So I want to talk to you about this because John and I were watching Wild Card last night. Also a terrible Tiffany Faison outfit
okay,
that she,
I did not see that yet.
okay. Uh it could have been great, but there was just like one element of it. Like the back was a different fabric than the rest of it. And in the but it was black on both sides, so the black didn't match up with the other black and it just looked weird. But anyway, um, do you think John and I were talking about this? Do you think Eric, do you think he brought Wildcard Kitchen to Food Network, or do you think Food Network was like, we want an Eric to host this show that we came up with?
I think probably the Food Network came up with the idea and cast him.
Mhm.
Spencer and I, every time we watch it, we make fun of the premise where they say that like this, they act like this card game is happening, but now they're finally filming it.
Right?
We think that's very funny. It's like a cute idea, but it's funny to
Yeah.
say that.
I mean, I
Um,
do like how relaxed it is, and I do
yes.
like, what we kind of came to the conclusion last night was that we thought that Eric might have brought the poker concept, but not necessarily the wild card kitchen.
Hmm.
Like he was like, I want to do something with poker, but
Yeah.
it's not because he plays poker though. It's because he's like, oh, this is like a competition, like like
Yeah.
his nerdiness with the
Uh-huh.
math and
Totally.
the different variations were the spark.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very fun concept. I like it. It's fun to watch, but it is funny, like the idea of like, oh, like this is just a thing that we would do no matter what. But here
Right.
now they're filming it.
And
Um,
especially when they show my favorite shot that they show is the security guard,
I know.
a flashlight, and it's like, come on.
And also when they show the security cameras where it's like, oh, we caught this on tape. But yeah, no, it's a great show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's just like I wonder, like Carly, who like we know we're buddies with because of TOC, is like, yeah, she like interacts with Eric Ajapong now. That's like part of her like job, which
I'm
is
so
very cool.
proud of her.
So we got
Yeah,
to have her on the pod to talk
totally.
about TOC stats. But yeah, so for now, like we let's just talk about what we had for dinner, if you don't mind.
Yeah. Well, actually, before we do,
Ooh,
I do want to. There's two events that I am involved with that I want to shout out. Um, Coming up if you listen to this episode on time, and one is at the Museum of Food and Drink. We're doing a food edition of Drunk Black History, um,
ooh,
and it's really cool. And the host Brandon Collins, who is a former client of mine who I love, really great guy. He's going to be talking about Food Network stuff. So I said maybe you should come on
ooh.
our pod at
That's
some
awesome. Definitely.
point.
Let's do it.
Um, and then also you were talking about Korean food. Well, I have K-pop star Kevin Woo is debuting a short film of his, but there's also going to be a queer K-pop group KHSS and comedian and Charlene K, which you've seen her from her videos of where she plays bad riffs at Guitar Center,
Ooh.
um, and just to like egg on shitty men. And then she also like has a series where she can write every single pop star's pop songs within a song. She's very funny. But yeah, that's happening on the 27th at a place called Honey's in Brooklyn. But both kind of pod adjacent in a way.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So we'll put those in the show notes. And what did you have for dinner, Debbie?
So because of my tummy, well, it wasn't even because of my tummy problems, but we had John had this idea. We were walking in H Mart to kind of kill some time after Hall of Science, and um, he decided to make like this like chicken soup out of all the shabu shabu ingredients that the kids really love putting in shabu
Ooh.
shabu. Um, and so it was really, really great. So go, John.
Awesome. Sounds
Yeah.
delicious.
Yeah.
So we are our kitchen is fixed now. So I have a kitchen, so I can cook
Yeah.
again. Yay. And we went to the farmers market this weekend,
Uh-huh.
and it was such a bummer because it was like really bad weather and our vegetable vendor was not there. So
Yeah.
there was no vegetables at the farmers market our first week
Same.
back in the kitchen. So the only we got like some pork chops because the meat vendor was there, and then we also the mushroom vendor was there. So I got like a bunch of mushrooms. I got a third pound of lion's mane, a third pound of Italian oyster, and a third pound of beech.
Nice.
And I made like a mushroom ragu tomato sauce today. Yeah, it came out great. I just did like, like mirepoix,
Uh-huh.
the mushrooms, butter. I did some beef broth to like
Nice.
set it up, and then I poured in the crushed tomatoes,
Mhm.
and I just like all let it simmer. And yeah, it was like totally delicious.
That sounds good.
Um, yeah, and it's so nice to cook. Also today we bake since she knows off school today, we bake cookies. Like I feel like a human again to be
Hmm.
able to just like do like normal things.
Yeah. Those
Um,
cookies were so cute, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Well,
I
they were
love it.
from so shout out to my friend Yen for Sheena's birthday. We always say no gifts, but my friend Yen is very thoughtful. So she got us like one of those like kids baking sets. So all
Oh,
we had to
yeah.
do was add in the butter and the egg, and everything else was in the box. And it had
That's
like,
cute.
instructions. It was very easy to do with Sheena.
Uh-huh.
So like that's the kind of gifts I will take because it doesn't like end up being like a plastic blob in my house for 10 years.
Right. Right.
It was awesome. So
That's
it's
awesome.
a good gift. But yeah, so everyone, please leave us a rating, review. You can buy us a coffee on buymeacoffee.com. And as you know, I am soon to be out of work. We
Hint,
need
hint.
we need help. If you are listening to this, Hunter Fieri, I will work for you. And if
I
Hunter is
mean,
listening, he's like got like like a humiliation kink or something. So
But you know what? You can also say like you would be so good at punching up his jokes. Like you should
Oh,
be his like
yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I do think that Food Network should just put us on the payroll. Okay, thank you very
for
much.
real.
But for real, rate, review, subscribe. And if you know someone who watches TOC, please share the podcast. We are the world's premier TOC podcast. And then soon we'll be doing Top Chef. And other
Send
than
me hate
that,
mail.
oh, send Debbie hate mail, please.
Yeah.
But
The only hate mail I've ever gotten is from my own husband. Like what? Come on. I'm serious. Like I want real hate mail.
and to Debbie, not to me, because I'm too
Yes.
emotionally fragile. I can't take it. But anyway, other than that, I think it is time for us to pack our
Pack our
knives
knives
and
and go.
go.